Hello, NorCal Carters. And this podcast is support the branding. And what I mean by that is if a local track or a race promoter or your favorite karting website like, NorCalCarters.com, if they're selling t-shirts or hats, if you appreciate what they're doing, support them by buying some apparel. And yes, I'm trying to sell some apparel. So I've been posting that I have t-shirts and long sleeve t-shirts available. But there's a real reason for it. And the number one is the branding. And it's to separate ourselves, whether it's a company, a track, a race promoter, separate yourself from the crowd. And so you're trying to create a unique appearance. You're trying to brand your name and ingrain it in people's memories. And again, you want to help it stand out and then stand out from the competitors or the peers. And so for karting, it's the tracks, the local shops, the race series, the media sites. So again, NorCalCarters.com. Also another one that I'm a fan of is kartpulse.com. So they're a forum-based karting community, and they actually have some really nice shirts and clever memes, not memes. I've been corrected on that in the past. So it's like Gene, meme. So they have some quirky memes that they put out on Facebook and Instagram. But they have a really good community growing, forum-based. And it's a great resource. In fact, I looked them up a couple of weeks ago because I was looking for how to tell the difference between silicone and dot 3 or 4 brake fluid, and it was in an old brake system. So I just Googled it, and Kart Pulse was the very first thing that popped up. And I was almost expecting like an antique car forum or something else, but not Kart Pulse. They popped up first. So I'm kind of getting a little distracted with Kart Pulse. I should ask them for advertising funds for this little plug on our podcast. But back to the branding. So the tracks, the shops, the series, the different media sites, etc. And the reason it's important, again, is to push that brand. So take a quick moment and think of the very first racing-related company you can think of. Okay, do you have it? Now, how do you remember them? Was it via a commercial on TV, a hat, a t-shirt, an internet ad? Just ask yourself. And also, post a comment. I'm going to put a link on here to Kart Pulse for this thread. And comment, what is the very first racing-related team or company you can think of, and why? That's going to be a conversation that I'll post the link in the description of Kart Pulse that we can start. Hopefully they don't already have that discussion going. But so that's the branding. Again, setting yourself apart. Example, KPX, they're the regional series for NorCal. They run the Briggs and they run the IAMI KA100. Their logo is very unique. It stands out. When you think KPX, if you've seen the logo a few times, that image probably flashes in your brain if you're a visual learner like I am. So I can see it now, the rounded letters, KPX, boom, orange, KPX. It's really about the only one that stands out. Kart Pulse to me stands out because they have kind of that, I don't know what to call it, Tron script look to it. Maybe that's not right, but it's very, not industrial, very electronic, very futuristic type of a look that I kind of recognize with the Kart Pulse logo. But it's branding. And so the reason it's important to the companies is it just allows us to make a little bit more money to put into our projects. So it again, so for NorCal Carters, I haven't generated enough revenue yet, but it will allow me to expand the apparel line for NorCal Carters. It will allow me to put more money back into my equipment. So I need a better microphone. I need better headphones for the podcasts. I need to do more trainings on podcasting and other things. These are all services that I'll have to pay for. Subscription services. So here shortly, I'm going to need to start paying for my Spreaker platform. And I've been paying for my web hosting for 6 years. And so all these little things, by selling a shirt, making $3, $4, $5 or whatever, goes back into the checking account to help pay for that kind of stuff. So that's why it's important to the companies. 1, the visual recognition. 2, the additional funds to help support some of these causes. Some of the reasons it's important to some of the tracks is it allows extra money in the bank account so they can put up new overhangs or bleachers or pit covers, cleaning up the bathrooms, or just maintenance and upkeep. For example, some of the tracks that do have bathrooms, they don't clean themselves and they don't unplumb themselves. So little things like that. For the KPX group, it allows them to expand their media coverage. And recently they'd had a gentleman, I think his name's Teddy B Films, doing video production for them. They recently posted one on their website from Stockton, and it's a edited video. Well, it wasn't free. They had to pay for it somehow. So do you want to pay more in entry fees to KPX? Or you're going to wear a shirt anyway. Why not just go buy a shirt, let them make a couple extra bucks, and if they sell enough of them, they can pay the film guy to keep doing these type of productions. For NorCal Karters, it's the same thing. I have to look at, okay, what track do I want to go to? How do I pay for the gas? How do I get there? Taking the whole day away from my family to go to a track to promote an event. So again, by doing the apparel sales, that helps offset some of those costs. From a NorCalCarters.com standpoint, the other reason I'm pushing the sales on the apparel is I really don't envision a website with a lot of ads. I don't want NorCalCarters.com to have a bunch of flashing banner ads before you get to the content. And I will do strategic placement of ads here in the future. I'm always looking for sponsors that may want to contribute to our project. But I don't want it to just be a banner ad website. I really want it to be for the karter, promoting race events, quick, easily accessible information without being hidden. And so some of the apparel sales will go directly into stuff like that. And the other thing about the branding is it develops a community. So think to yourself, some of the brands that are out there, whether it's racing or non-racing, when you see it, if you relate to the person wearing it or you really don't relate to the person wearing it. One of the best marketing brands out there for the past few years has been MAGA, Make America Great Again. So this is not a political statement, but it is a brilliant brand because everyone has a reaction to that hat. And everyone has an opinion about seeing MAGA or seeing a red hat with just white lettering. It creates a very real emotion for many people. That's brilliant branding. So without the political statement, I didn't say MAGA is brilliant. I just said the branding is brilliant. Another one that's a little bit more under the radar, and I personally didn't get it, and it's The Boring Company. B-O-R-I-N-G. The Boring Company. The first time I saw the hat, I laughed. It's black hat, white lettering. And I didn't get it. I just said, that's funny someone would buy a hat that just says The Boring Company. Well, after further research, a couple years later, looking into some of Elon Musk's projects and mainly around the SpaceX stuff, I ran across The Boring Company. I didn't realize it was a legit bit of business that bores tunnels for his electric cars, and that is The Boring Company. So everyone nowadays pretty much knows about Elon Musk's idea of underground tunnels with electric cars to bypass all the current congested highways. And so that's the Boring Company. And they also developed a flamethrower. So, again, I had no idea what the Boring Company was. I just thought it was a funny hat that said Boring Company. It wasn't a couple years later that it dawned on me. I was like, wait, I remember that hat. Oh, now I feel like a dumbass. A local karter. Let's give this guy a plug. Empty Wallet Racing. Can you relate to that? Again, Empty Wallet Racing. I am going to sell his apparel on NorCalCarters.com for two reasons. I totally relate to Empty Wallet Racing. And two, he's a local guy trying to brand himself for himself and his son and their racing. And it's Empty Wallet Racing. That is a great conversation piece when you're wearing something like that. So I've already reached out to Ramon, and I will have his apparel on NorCalCarters.com. So again, it's Empty Wallet Racing. Check it out in a couple of days. And again, that's branding, and it's important, and it starts as a conversation. That's the other thing about branding. We want that conversation started. So other people look at it as like, oh, Empty Wallet Racing. What do you race? Or NorCalCarters.com. Oh, you race karts. I used to race karts. My nephew races karts. My daughter races karts. Where do you race? It opens up that conversation. So it's the branding. It's opening up a conversation. It's creating a connection. So that's the important about the branding as well. And that's where it's very important for these companies, is creating that connection, creating that conversation. I am going to start another podcast series on converting these conversations into putting people into go-karts. And I will be working with a few selected teams and companies on how we can help current racers make a little bit of money by referring karting to their friends, family, or strangers. But part of that is going to be with t-shirts, hats, creating that conversation. So that'll be a whole series on how to convert people into karting. And that's really about it. I think you get the gist. Yes, I'm trying to sell t-shirts. NorCalCarters.com. Go to the store. Buy a t-shirt. If there's a track, a series, a local shop, and you appreciate what they're trying to do, just buy a shirt. You know, my shirts, most of them cost around $20. I sell my youth shirts at cost for, I think I have them for $15 or $16. That's pretty much my rock bottom cost on those shirts. Hopefully I make a little bit of money on the adult sizes, but I'm not going to get rich on it. But every couple dollars helps go into the account. So again, if there's a series you enjoy, next time you're out there, buy a shirt. If there's a track you enjoy, buy a shirt. If there's a kart shop that has helped you out or you want to support them, buy a shirt. Wear the shirt. Wear it in public. And I want you to report back on the Kart Pulse forums under the thread if you wear shirts, if it creates a conversation. So I think that's important too. It's just not wearing a shirt. It creates the conversation. It makes you relatable to somebody else that might see that. So keep all of that in mind. And I appreciate you listening. If you like what I'm doing, buy a shirt. If you really like what I'm doing, share my podcast, share my website, subscribe to the podcast. If you go to our link, we're hosted on 8 different services right now. So it's pretty easy to do. I will expand this conversation to Kart Pulse. I'll create a thread about the branding. Hopefully a couple Kart Pulse people buy t-shirts. Hopefully we get a good conversation going. And again, the whole idea is to promote karting. And how can we promote karting? Well, one of the ideas, one of the concepts is branding. If you like what someone's doing, buy the shirt. I mean, you know you're going to buy a t-shirt anyway. You're probably going to buy a t-shirt based on whatever logo or catchy gimmick is on it. Why not support the local karters for the same reason? All right, thank you. Have a great weekend.